Merry Christmas to you guys. Hope you guys are having a good holidays and spending a lot of time with your family or friends, just doing things that you like and enjoy. Kind of like how I'm out here wrenching on my twin turbo today. Decided it's probably best to go ahead and start getting some work done on this thing. I know we need to pull the engine out because we did get a big upgrade for the engine that I haven't really spoke about yet. You guys will find out when the time comes. But now we're just putting everything back together because we just had it all taken apart for our last catch can install video, which you guys may have already seen, but we actually had to rob a couple T's to put on that other car. And now it's time to just put everything back on the car and potentially fire this thing up. It's got a couple quirks that needs worked out, so we're going to try to iron those out so we can get to driving this thing a lot more and sliding it around in the winter and stuff. Just having a little bit of fun with it. The Z has had an issue that I've been trying to work out. Pretty much when I come to a stop after the car's been on for a little bit, it'll want to shoot up and idle at like 1700. I've changed the TPS, I've changed the full plenum just to make sure the throttle bodies were balanced. Checked the fuel pump, I've checked fuel pressure. There's just a lot of weird things going on here and I haven't been comfortable to drive this thing. Since we went ahead and drained all the water out and put some coolant in it, we actually need to re-burp the system. So let's go ahead and get started. It has just came to my attention that one, my battery is dead from this sitting so long out in the cold. And two, I actually found out I don't have any coolant. So we actually have to go get some. And unfortunately, it looks like the sun's going down. So we'll catch you bright and early tomorrow when we can start really chipping away at this car. I actually forgot something else that we need to do as well. This is the coolant temp sensor for the gauge portion of the car. This car actually starts when it's cold, says it's warm, and when it's warm it says it's like way hotter than hot, like it's way up there. So we're going to replace this with a good one just to eliminate one other thing because it's very simple. And since you have to pull this out and cause your coolant to leak on a full system, there's no better time to do it before we start to bleed. So I just found another one, cleaned it up real good, and actually these are supposed to be 12mm. This is wrong because I went to go thread the old one in to the pipe that this one came out of. It was very resistant. Yeah, I don't feel bad at all. I'm definitely happy we decided to do this. Gas gauge is totally empty. Definitely need some more time to charge, to say the least. I think we actually may need to find our second jump pack. Well dang, I just cranked it over another time just to give it a shot and it fired right up. So I guess I just needed to wait a second, get the battery, get a little bit more charge. Nice 85 pounds of oil pressure. Even up there on the gauge is reading accurate. Wow, well, a little high. I'm actually not even 100% sure how I'm going to pull this off. I may just honestly completely ditch this front bumper. It fits like absolute trash, and regardless of it being Duraflex or whatever, I don't care about losing it on the track. I don't really anticipate losing it at all. How much of an efficient bleeding process we're going to get if we're not getting coolant through the heater core. Not much I can do. Maybe something that we tackle once we kind of gut this thing all out and see kind of how we want to run it, but for now we're just going to leave it. Let's grab an 8mm and go ahead and tighten down each of our boost points and whatnot so we can eliminate the chance for a leak here, because if I remember correctly we did have kind of a partial boost leak when this thing ran last. The blower motor finally kicked on out of nowhere, but it wasn't blowing heat, so we know that that vent blend door actuator is not working and it's stuck in the cold position. Now the car, once it's not on heat, it's actually idling really low. It's idling like right at 500. Now there's a yellow connector right there. Pull that off, and once you pull that off, your RPM should jump up about 50. Once you do that, if you can see this little slot right there. It'll either be a flathead or a Phillips. The Phillips will still have room for a flathead. But then you use that to raise and lower your idle. Once you get it to the desired spot, plug your connector back in and it should idle fine. If it doesn't stay in the right spot, that means you have a vacuum leak and you need to figure that out. Now that I unplugged it, the car actually just died. So I'm actually going to try to open it up a little bit, which I'm going to loosen it to pull it outwards so it has more room to flow inside of the unit. And hopefully that'll give me enough air to at least fire it up, and then I can set it accordingly. Fudge, you guys, this screw is actually stuck. I've never had this problem, never encountered this problem, so hopefully we can tackle it. Our tactic is going to be a longer flathead, and we're going to try to tap it with a hammer so that way we can knock it loose maybe and have a little bit more success. Not sure how well you can see it, but we are getting metal flakes. It appears we are going to strip this out if we keep trying. I guess we'll plug it back in, see how well the car idles, at least with it just plugged in, and we may just have to send it for now. Okay, it starts and idles, so that's good. We'll probably just let this thing bleed out for a couple more minutes. Went ahead and changed the nose panel just because. So now you guys see we're idling 800 RPMs. Rev comes down just fine. Revs comes down just fine, evens out. Let's take it for a little spin and see how it starts acting by the time we get back. Something very tragic, you guys. I actually wasn't going to drive this thing till I got a cotter pin in my front caliper slide pin. I forgot the last time I was outside looking at this, the pin was slid all the way out. So we're at really a big safety risk right now. Let's let this volunteer firefighter get by. Well, second gear totally skates like it's just ice. Miss this car so much. I actually like these lights too. So far she's held up for both the little second gear pulls to break loose in front of the homie's house. I hope they noticed. I know one of them did because he was actually pulling out of his house. The worst thing about this car is taking off at stoplights. I kid you not. So far, the idle's good, but we're not going to speak too soon. Let's see how she feels when we get home. Well, so far we're back, and it's actually idling good. I'm really not sure what happened, what made it go wrong, so I guess we're going to go ahead and continue with trying to diagnose this thing tomorrow. Let's go ahead and clean everything up, and tomorrow we'll actually boost leak test this thing, sort a couple other things out, get that caliper sorted because that's very sketchy. Idea behind tomorrow is to actually drive the car around, and who knows, maybe do a couple clutch dumps, clutch kicks, something somewhere that I can just fool around with the car because it's beyond time. Now we're going to try to switch, or at least put a cotter pin on that brake caliper up on the front. Low car problems. Well, looks like my impact's not going to work today. Luckily, this is a pretty quick job. Alright, now let's check the condition of our slide pins. This side has something. This side has absolutely nothing. At least it's something very simple. Wow, I just noticed what I got going on for a brake system up here. Holy cow. Yikes. Total disregard for hooking it up back here, I guess. I'm honestly a little baffled I never noticed this earlier. This car is such a clapper. Like, look at that. That's Bondo that I stuck my finger through on accident. We'll go ahead and use one of these because I don't think we have anything else. I reckon it doesn't really matter as long as the pin doesn't slide out. I remember one time I looked and the pin was sticking all the way out here, almost hitting the wheel. What? Are you kidding me? It's starting to rain. I got a serious problem with trusting the weather. It said no rain today till 6 p.m. Here it is, 2 p.m. and it's raining. Our shiesty kind of cruddy cotter pin is in. Now we know that pin's not going to fall out. Reinstall our wheels, which are actually incredibly heavy for some reason. Now it's up to old reliable. Let's drop her back on the ground, or at least as low as she'll go. What we're about to try to fix next is probably one of the most important things to us right now in driving this car around. See that little blue connector right there? It's tucked all the way back up there on the side of the passenger kick panel. And what I'm pretty sure that is the relay for the turn signal, or the fuse or something. It's something to do with the turn signal. I had someone ask me for one once and didn't actually end up buying it. So I pulled it and I've just got it sitting there. Since we've tested every single other thing, what's it gonna hurt than to just give it a shot? If it works, it works, and we're only up. If it doesn't, we're in the same boat. Hey, that's where I would put my suction cup mount. So this is what we're actually trying to change out. I haven't pulled it out, but this is the new one we're gonna throw in and try. And you can see it's located right there on the top. But since this is a drift car and it's never going to be anything nice or amount to anything, why don't we just break it off? There we go. Well, that's off. That's going to be much easier to replace now. Sweet. All right. Moment of truth. Does look like there's a little bit of corrosion in there. And no luck. I'm really running out of options. If you guys know or have been through this, drop it in the comments below what else to check. I've checked the stock. I've replaced it with 2 and 3 different stocks actually. Our button up here is not jammed, causing it to not work. So I actually don't know. Please drop it below. The flasher relay has also been changed. Still not a problem because this flashes, but we just don't have a turn signal. It's driving me crazy. I have to hand signal this thing everywhere when I drive it. So far, the only other thing I really remember that we need to do is we need to change this fuse. This is not the correct fuse for the application. We just used it because it worked. Looks like maybe I confused myself. I'm glad we went down this to figure this out. It's actually the 30 that we need. There we go. Close it, I guess you should say. Now we're actually good to go. At least we're good to go fuel pump wise. I really want a boost leak test, but the rain is not permitting. So we're gonna have to kind of hold out on that. And I really can't drive this thing because it's raining. Like, I can't defrost my vents. What do? I guess we can go sit and wait this thing out. Always happens when I want to get stuff done. Now it's the next day. We're gonna go ahead and fill up both of our tires, at least so we have some kind of air pressure in them. Not only that, let's go ahead and pull our catch can so we can see roughly how much water we accumulated from running the car for idle time, bleeding the coolant, and for driving like 5 miles max. On E85, catch cans are a must. Oh yeah. Yeah. Ew. Accidentally touched the catch can filter. And that's the purpose of the filter that we showed you guys on the last video, is it condensates and drips that crud. Now let's get this tire air up and actually go get some drive time. So pretty much the remainder of this video is going to be just us driving this, kind of testing some things. We've got a boost leak test we got to do once we come back, but we want to check a couple things off the list before we get there. Now, since we have to ride with no windows, we have to keep them down to keep our windshield defrosted. Let's put our hat on. Went ahead, gave her an extra 5 gallons. All the tires are pumped up. We got oil. Currently we're at 85. I like to wait till 100, 120 before we go, just so I know we're up to operating temperature and our ignition timing is chilled out and it's not requiring more ignition timing to get the thing warmed up. Kind kind of tempted just to go over to the next town and grab a little bit of E85 and just fill the tank up. Maybe we'll do that as our little test run here. Grab a little bit of extra power steering, even though we don't have it, just because we have a terrible leak. Don't want to fry my power steering pump and not having fluid. Z. Sorry if the road noise is just unbearable. This car is a hoopty, but we're actually going to go fill up with gas, and we're going to see if the problem persists up to getting to gas. When we go come out and fire the car up, if it starts idling real high and wanting to surge, then we'll know the issue's not gone. But I don't want to start beating on the car, boosting it, and seeing if that contributes to why it doesn't. Sideways. I guess the key is to take off the second gear. That's what gets it squirrely. Let's get a welded diff. I'm going to call up my buddy Caleb and get this taken care of. It's not going to swing out turning the other way. Definitely did turn left. Boost leak at about 3.5 psi, so we definitely need a boost leak test when we get back home. Oh no, E85 went up 20 cents a gallon. That's a bummer. Actually 28 cents. It was 201 the last time I was here. Now it's 229. Dang it. Well, we got pretty lucky. We only paid 15 bucks for a full fill up. Can't beat that. Looks like we still got some hard starts. Nope, that's actually idling good. It's staying about 600 RPM, and it's not just falling off on its face, and it's not revving up to 2,000. Well, that's good. Let's go ahead and just drive it like a normal person. Sparky's no longer in use today, for your guys' sake. It's a pretty crazy feeling about hitting boost on a corner. You already got the G-force kicking in, but you're just, whoa! Hey, we just hit 126,600 miles. That's hilarious. I just realized this has the exact mileage as my 2+2. Now, what kind of test drive would it be if we didn't give it at least one pole? Oh, we actually burned some rubber back there. I can smell it. She still got it. Man, this car is something else. I just fall in love with it every time I drive it. We're getting this on the track next year. I'm not kidding. And we've made it home. Best part about this car, I can't open the trunk without the key, so let's take the key with the car running. So silly. Got the trunk all loaded up with everything we need. RT. Compressor, line, and an air chuck. One thing that really drives me crazy about this car is this fender situation. There's no way I can secure it to the body that keeps it from rubbing the door here. So regardless, every time I open it, it hits the fender. You see it's rubbing on top. Not that I care at all, but I feel like we may need another fender or something. Maybe we can sort that out once we really start going balls to the wall on this, because I don't want to just use fenders if I don't have to. Went and grabbed us a 10 mil, 8 mil, and a 12 mil for other assorted things like the plenum bolts. I guess I should have grabbed some pliers so we can take this nose panel off. Let's remove the T. So I may have potentially answered my own question. I just pulled this T off. I can't say that the crap goes through on any of them, but I can say that that's not right. We probably need to change out this T. That doesn't look good at all. Place the T, or at least this, which I got from Z1 Motorsports. I don't know how I feel about it yet, because I've had nothing but problems. The valve stem has been replaced, but it still leaks constantly, so the system doesn't ever constantly hold pressure for me to be able to eliminate where it is back here, because I'm constantly trying to not hear this hiss right here that I can't stop. Now take your air, however you have it at least, and fill your system up to about 7 psi. Don't really go much past that, because if you do, you could actually blow your seals out in your engine. And of course, the air compressor kicks on, so now we gotta wait for it to stop till we can actually hear. I don't hear anything. I mean, yeah, the compressor already kicked on and all, but I really just don't. Maybe we don't have any. Yeah, I kid you not, I hear absolutely nothing. You may be able to hear it on the GoPro. It doesn't want to hold it. We still drop pressure. We're not getting a boost leak, so that's kind of confusing. A little frustrating considering we have one when we're on throttle. Maybe it is just the T. So maybe we'll just go ahead, swap this T out. We'll leave it hooked up, pull this out, and we'll go ahead and install this MAF here. Now that we got this hooked back up, I reckon the only way that I know that we can kind of test without driving this thing, if maybe it's any better with this T, is to fire the car up and check what kind of vacuum we're making on our boost controller. Usually it reads like 0.99, so for whatever reason it's a little bit better than normal. I guess we just gotta wait and see as the idle chills out. I feel like typically the higher my idle, the less my vacuum, because you're closer to boost, even though we're not in gear. Right now it's already reading probably half a pound better than it was, so it is cold. It typically gets better when it warms up, so I guess we get to try this out tomorrow. I'm super excited, so maybe we can finally tune and dial in our boost controller so we no longer have to overboost this thing and can just rip it wide open throttle anytime we want. It drives me crazy. Oh, we actually got Christmas with Gabby's family today, so let's go ahead, start to clean everything up, and then we can drive this thing tomorrow. Until tomorrow, Z. Now we're letting the thing warm up. Finally do some testing. Now let's check our catch can after yesterday's 20 miles of driving. Oh yeah. Look how much is in there from driving it 20 miles. This thing is halfway full. Our boost controller is reading pretty good. It's running a mid 9s, which previously it was running a high 8, so that's way better. I've never been able to find a good kind of definition of how you're supposed to tune this boost controller, because it's an electronic boost controller. So I've screenshotted a couple things in the groups over time that have helped elaborate and how this process is done. You can't have any boost leaks to do this process, because your boost will ramp up or fall off, etc., etc. You got to be able to just push and boost consistently. So far from the way I understand this, you set start with the set to gain your target boost. Gain will help boost fall off over the range. Start boost is how long a controller waits to begin to control the boost. Too low of a stay boost and it will build slowly. Too high of a start boost and it will overshoot before tapering away. Step 1, it says to adjust until you hit your target PSI in 4th gear consistently. You adjust or set here, which is at the top. We have ours at 20. So pretty much you just have to keep running it, adjusting your gain to see how fast it ramps up, and adjust your set to max out your maximized boost level. So really, you just have to drive it around to kind of test and to be able to get to that point. Capped out at 14 psi, so that's good, but I just had so many bad instances where this thing just overboosts that I try not to keep my foot in it because I don't want to blow my car up. Yep, buried my foot and it bounced up to 17. Let's try our set 15% low. Set it to 10%, see if it boosts faster or slower. Oh, out at 13.7, so we're making some progress now. 17.4 again. Let's just put set to 25% and see how it acts. Alright, we just set our gain to 15% instead of 5. Let's see how that changes it. Oh, that felt really good. Boosted as hard as I push the gas. Dang, let her eat. Kept it under 15 and that thing just ate. I have never felt this thing boost that hard. So I think we're on the right track as far as the boost leaks and kind of setting this thing up. Got about 10 miles till we get home to see what we can sort out. Oh, we do still have a boost leak. Exactly running hot, but this is the hottest that the car's got up to in a while. Holy snap! Whoa! That only ran 13.8. That felt like 18 psi. I think we're finally making good progress here. I'm so happy because I want to drive this thing so bad. This is so much fun. If you guys don't have boost, you need to get it. Floor it. Holy snap. We just cracked loose at 80 mile an hour in 4th gear. That's a first. Let's check our set at 20 this time. Still over boosting. I'm really not sure why. That's one way to resurface your rotors. Uh-oh, police up here. We need to chill out. Well, we made it without getting a ticket here. So that's good. Now let's go ahead and head back home. We've got pretty much all the information we need. We still just got to kind of keep playing around with the boost leak test. I'm going to order a smoke tester so that can help me visualize my leak. And I'm actually going to get a new valve stem seal so I can fix my boost leak tester to not leak air every time that I use it. Now that we're making progress on this thing, I can finally pull the trigger and just commit to making progress on it. Now that I know that we're going to get rewards out of it. At the beginning, I just felt like I was working just to work, just to play around with this car, and I wasn't making any progress. I'd be lying if I said the whole day yesterday after we drove this thing that I haven't literally been dreaming of just coming back out here and driving this thing again. Boost is so addicting, literally so addicting. There's no other feeling like it in the world. And once you get it, you want all of it. So now let's actually go back, park this thing. We've driven this now 25 miles in this little stint. So let's check and see how much water we have in our catch can now. Oh, I just noticed our big rips just blew this thing all the way up in here. I guess it's not needed. Oh yeah, this thing, it's feeling full already. I don't know if this is something to do with my tank. Maybe is getting too much moisture in it. The car's running great now, at least compared to what it was. I think our last venture of changing the plenum and the throttle cable has fixed it, at least enough to drive it and trust the car. Now that it hasn't given us this issue within 50 miles, I'm about to the point of making this thing my daily and just driving it anywhere in the winter, since I don't care about its underside condition whatsoever. Because let's face it, this car is going to see a lot of beating here in the next few years. I'm super pleased with how it's turned out today. I at least know that we can move forward with this thing. It's been really frustrating looking at this thing all the time, seeing its potential and not doing anything with it just because of all the little issues. If I ain't gonna do it, no one's gonna do it. So it's time for us to get out here and start fixing our problems instead of avoiding them. I actually think this is gonna wrap up the video, you guys. There's not much else other than next we get to weld the diff. Messaged my buddy already, we got that in the works. At least the next video you see where this car is the main focus, we will be changing the diff and potentially diff bushings. I guess now is the perfect time to order that dual e-brake kit, considering we already got the brakes and everything else. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today. If you did, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe down below, as it really helps our channel, especially with YouTube algorithms and those other weird things. And thank you guys again, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.